Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, I am glad you are here while we're here because I'm going to tell you what my pick for the best Benchmade EDC knife is that they make. And it's subjective because everybody's got different needs. One thing that's kind of interesting is I learned a little bit about Benchmade when I was working on this video that found out that they were founded basically back in 1979 in California, and they were called Balisong. And then in around 1980, they changed their name to the Pacific Cutlery Corporation. And finally, in 1988, they changed their name to Benchmade. I was not aware of that. Thought it was pretty interesting. They moved to Oregon, I think it was, in 1990 to a little town called Clackamas. I think that's what it's called. And they started working with, they wanted to get closer to some of the production companies because they are a USA made, manufactured knife company. So their whole goal was to bring as much of their outside production inside. So I think it was around 1996 they moved again to a 35,000 square foot facility where they are now in Oregon City, Oregon. And they're a mainstay in the knife community, the knife industry. The first knives I think I learned about when I started collecting knives were Benchmades. I think my first Benchmade was probably this Mini Locos, and then my first Grail, the one that I wanted more than any other because I'd seen it so much, was the 940. But the reason we're here today is so I can tell you why and what, well, first off, what I think is the best Benchmade EDC knife and why I think that. I don't have a full-size grip Tillion here, but it would be a little bit big for me. The Mini Loco is a great knife. If I was a harder user guy, if I wasn't just a city guy who didn't cut a lot outside of the basics, your packages, your letter openers, your bags of food, stuff like that. Freak's a great knife. Most of these are all on Omega Springs bar locks, which Benchmade pioneered and founded, called it the Axis lock. But yeah, guys, my best of class Benchmade for an EDC knife is the Benchmade Bugout. And I want to take a few minutes and kind of tell you why I think that is, right? Benchmade has their lifetime warranty. They get a lot of flack, a lot of grief for being priced kind of high or higher for a USA made knife. And when you look at these Bugouts, they're really not. And a lot of people will say, well, you don't have a lot of materials there. However, they're made to be very light, very EDC friendly type of knives. I unfortunately don't have this one. This is the basic, I want to say the 535 3 maybe, or no, this may be the 535 BK, which was Grivory scales and the Black Blade and S30V. I want to say this knife comes in around $160, $170, and then this one has some Flytanium carbon fiber scales on it that probably add another $99. I just happen to have those scales and I put them on it for this video. I wish this had its regular Grivory scales on it so we could just look at it, but I didn't want to really put them back on just for this video. But one of the other things that I think makes it a fantastic knife, first off, is going to be the weight. This is the S90V, I guess you'd call it the Elite. It's got a MKM pocket clip on it, which is not a Benchmade standard, and I think it's got blue hardware that was added to it. This is A to Z EDC's knife. And then this one is, and this knife in the S90V, I think it's a 535-2002 maybe? No, it's the 535-3. This is more high end. This one's going to cost somewhere right around $330, but it is in carbon fiber. and S90V blade steel. Very thin, very light. And then this one was a Blade HQ exclusive in 20CV. It came with a G10 handle, and I want to say this was the model 535-2002, and it was around 250 bucks. And you can still get these today. But to me, what makes them special for my EDC, for my urban city life EDC, is the weight. They are very light knives. When I think of a pocket knife, for what I'm using it for, a lot of it is how it's going to feel, not just in my hand, but in my pocket. Keep in mind, some of these I've made a little heavier. Less than 2 ounces, 1.95 ounces, 2.15 ounces, and then this one's got met embossed scales on it. It's going to be heavier, like I like it, 2.8 ounces. So these are 3-inch blade knives that are all going to fall under, well under that inch per ounce ratio. That doesn't mean a lot to me, but these are very, very light. The ergos on these knives are very comfortable. This is a basic knife design, guys. This knife, I don't know, I'm sure there are knives that looked like it before it came out, but there sure have been a lot of knives that come out kind of replicating what they've done, because if I'm not mistaken, this is also Benchmade's most popular model. Now, they sell a whole bunch of models, a whole bunch of knives that we might not have even seen, to government agencies like the military, like law enforcement. They're not necessarily civilian knives, but from a civilian standpoint, I think the Bugout is probably the top seller. So with that lightweight and those nice ergos, all of these are both Benchmade stock clips. And then this is the MX Gear clip. All deep carry, so they carry very deep. Get a little example here on this. I need to get a little pair of jeans. But they're full deep carry knives, right? So they carry in your pocket invisibly because they are so light and they are so thin. This knife is very thin. They'll vary a little bit because they have different scale materials. Let's do this. Let's zero that out. Let's go in here, and this was contoured 0.4230, 0.4085 for the Elite, and the mitten boss, which is probably going to be a little thicker, 0.3995. And I'm sure the Grivory's even less than that. The blade thickness on all of these is going to come in at a thin 0.0905, which goes back to, for me, I think it's Benchmade's best EDC knife. For you, if you're a hard user, if you do a lot of lateral prying, things like that with your knife, cutting more heavy-duty materials, they're probably going to be better options for you. Maybe a heavier knife like the Adamas or the Mini Adamas or the fixed blade Adamas. You know, you never know what your case is going to be. But for me, the Bugout's hard to beat. You've got the carry profile, you've got the weight, you've got the ergos, you've got quality materials. I know a lot of people don't like the FRN because it's real kind of spongy. The G10 that came standard on the Blade HQ version was a good bit stiffer. You could not get it as much flex. But the other thing that I think makes Benchmade's, and it's carbon fiber, you can't move at all, but what makes Benchmade's Bugout so desirable is you've got so many aftermarket options, whether it's titanium scales, whether it's carbon fiber scales, whether it's hardware upgrades. I've never broken an Omega spring, which are the springs that control this this actuation here on this bar lock. But you know, if you need to replace your axis springs, there's just a lot that you can do, from clips to back spacers. You'll notice this one has a standard back spacer. These don't, but you could add back spacers. Like this one has a back spacer that was added. So you can make them your own. You can really customize them. You can personalize them. And then quality materials. You've got, you know, a lot of different blade steels. I don't know. I think Damasteel could be added to this list in the custom shop, but you've got S30V as your standard. The 20CV is a Blade HQ exclusive, and then the Elite comes in S90V. And they're all heat treated very well. They have very good cutting geometry. So not only do they have good blade steels, good heat treats, but they've got good cutting geometry. And all these knives have been used. None of them have been sharpened freshly. They're all still on factory edges. But again, the Benchmade Bugout, a fantastic knife. Again, I think the main reasons for me are the weight, the lightweight, the ergonomics, the ease of carry because of the lightweight and the thin profile, the quality materials, the availability of aftermarket parts in case I want to mod it, do different things to it. Its ability to do general cutting tasks very well. For me, that general cutting task is going to consist of maybe cutting some paracord, maybe doing some light whittling, probably opening some cat food or some human food, maybe a few clamshell packages. I may be open Amazon boxes, you know, things like that. I may be breaking down cardboard. These knives have great geometry to break down cardboard. I think I've got a little bit of cardboard right here. But again, they're just very slicey, sharp knives, and they're comfortable in the hand. So that means a lot to me. To have a comfortable knife in the hand that I can get a lot of mileage out of for a light task, light carry, a light hike, day at the office, a day around the house. I mean, it's just a great EDC knife if I'm not going out to do anything seriously hard use, right? So they're also covered by Benchmade's warranty. A lot of people don't have to use the warranty. I think that's where a lot of the cost in Benchmade's come in because it is a lifetime warranty. And I've heard horror stories of people dropping their knives in rivers, finding them a year later, and Benchmade repairing them, restoring them, replacing them. I think you're backing an American company. You've got a really good warranty, and you've got some very, very cool designs. I'm a big fan of the Bugout and Benchmade in general. That's kind of what I think about it, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. What are your thoughts on the Bugout? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Is it a knife that would even suit your needs? That's the most important thing when finding that challenge of what is the perfect EDC knife for me, right? And it goes back to the you. What does you and your needs dictate that you pick up? Guys, before we go, I want to thank all the channel members. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to thank any of you guys come in and watch my channel and stay this long. Thank you. Do me a favor, hit the like button, but most importantly, please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your hearts and choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.